Like, if you're going to do something for me, I need to think of what I can give you in return. If it means like you're going to play a DJ set for me for free, I know how to take pictures and you don't have press photos. Let me take your press photos, you know? Like, bartering will always be there. And I don't think that's a tradition that should never go away in your arsenal. Like, always think of how you can offer someone value when you want something from them.
From Corner Juta and Gqeberha, Imene Msindiswe C, Umvelisi Nqango Meliswe Sidwe, formerly known as Lwazi Madonsela, bringing you a show about creative entrepreneurs live from the landmark that not only birth SA street culture, but also formalize the street hustle. Corner Juta and Gqeberha, Msindiswe C, Umvelisi Nqango special edition, uyena. The podcast engatholakali imoto Mali. It's been a while since I've recorded, but most importantly, it's been a while since I've recorded someone I've been so close to and known over so many years. Today, my guest is Aviwe Xaluva, if you just met him. If you know him from back in the day, Christopher Poindexter.
Damn!
If you know his IDs, Aviwe Xaluva. If you know his events, it's Mr. Afro Capital, Mr. Closing Function, Mr. Solstice. What you doing now?
We're on the decks right now.
Firstly, you're a photographer, videographer, editor, DJ, producer, content creator, influencer, baddie. How do you do it all?
How do we do it all? You try to section it out, man. Space it out, you know? You can't do it all at once, but space it out.
You ventured into DJing. You're making mad guap off the videos. You're like, let me DJ, let me start over, let me try get gigs.
It's crazy. It wasn't even a matter of, let me just leave shooting and just go DJ. It was a matter of, it sounds cool when I say it until I show you what happened, but it was all because of a bike accident. I got into a bike accident and then I was booked off work for like a week. And when I was booked off work for a week, I just felt like I just need to learn a new skill, and I learned how to DJ. And I had my first mix. I remember that day, I got into the bike accident, went to the hospital, got like 9 stitches on my face. 9 stitches on my face, called my boy over. I'm like, yo, bro, can I borrow your controller? I'm going to have mad time on my hands. Can I borrow your controller? He gives it to me. I literally download music, record a mix, same time, post it same day. As I'm posting that, I got into an accident. So by the time I'm telling the world that, hey, I got into an accident, I kind of stitched it with like, but hey, don't be too worried, just stream my mix. And then people started streaming my mix.
How do you know it's time for a rollout? Because that feels like a rollout. Because like, here's this horrific moment, but here's the beautiful happy ending. It sounds like a Disney movie in the early 2000s.
The weird thing with me is that I've come to a point where whenever something tragic that I feel is tragic happens to me, I always view that as a transitional period. Because there was a period where I got my camera stolen by an Uber driver that was a family friend. Make it make sense, bro. Like, we know where you live. So I got my camera stolen by that broer, and I was devastated. But like, the moment I decided to like, okay, let me not be too sad about this. Let me view this as an opportunity for something to like happen to me. And I got those cameras stolen. Literally a week later, I posted like a video about how, hey, this happened to me, but I'm using my friend's camera. Do you guys want to book me for shoots? Gang people booked me for shoots. I was able to buy 2 brand new cameras that are better than the ones that I lost. You know, just email us. You'll find out how much we charge.
Nothing hectic.
Nothing hectic.
We can find a way around.
Nothing hectic, yeah.
You use the tragedy, you grow yourself, you plateau. What happens when there's no tragedy? How do you maintain? Because for me, I have these seasons where I'm like, yeah, now I'm working. Like, I'm burning out. Like, I'm living off, like, I can go with a can of Red Bull for like a day. And then the next day, thanked All-Star Box. Yeah. I'm just operating. There's nothing else I'm thinking about. I'm just operating.
In the zone, you're working, yeah.
And then there's just like, yo, I've finished every show on the streaming platform.
Yeah. For me, it's. I think the beauty is having so many different categories of myself. So I still take photos. I still do videography. I DJ, I host events. So when I feel like I've done as much as I can in the DJing world, like, because like, you're not going to get booked all the time. Like, especially in the beginning, So when I feel like, okay, cool, bookings are not as packed, or I'm not accepting the bookings that don't feel right to me, I'm gonna go focus on photography. Like just a few weeks ago, we were shooting some stuff for a big brand with like an international superstar that came down. And that really got me excited about shooting again, and now I'm taking more clients for shooting, more people are hitting me up for shooting. So I feel like when I feel like I've reached my limit, I just go do something else. So when I feel like I've reached my limit for photography for that period, I'm gonna go create content of myself. Like the other day, I did a series where I was posting every day for like 15 days. The goal was to get to 30. The goal was to get to 30.
Glass half full.
But
Glass half full.
I did 15, which is half. So I'm happy with that too. So like I'm just finding different things to do within all the things that I do.
You know, this guy that I'm calling for my wedding because the biggest day of my life, but you started off as this kid who documented everything on Facebook. How did you go from I take a photo to I charge per photo?
I think it really comes down with putting in the work, if I'm being quite honest, because in the beginning, you feel like people are doing you a favor by letting you shoot them. And as time goes and you hone in your craft, because for me personally, I became so obsessed with photography that I consumed content that was teaching me how to be better as a hobby. Like I would like, when you come home and you look Dragon Ball Z, that was me with photography. Like I'd come home, go on YouTube and watch videos on how to edit better, how to retouch, how to be better than the next photographer. So that when I shoot and they shoot, you feel like, hey man, I need to be paying that guy more because he's giving me above and beyond. So once I just started making sure that my stuff was industry standard or above my peers at the time, that's when I felt like, okay, cool, now I can charge for what I'm offering.
What's that moment like when you are above your peers? Because a lot of people talk about that moment where I finally got good, but what happens when you start pricing yourself out the market because you're like, what, you're going to book 4 of them to do? I'll do it one man. I'll carry one camera. I'll carry the video this side. I know Mpumelelo does that thing with the double strap where he's shooting wide and close up. What's that moment like?
I feel like that moment for me, it in the beginning, it got scary because I'm like, oh, okay, now I'm going to lose out on clients because I'm charging the most. But then I rewired my thinking and said, okay, cool. How do I make the experience for the consumer better? So now I'm not just texting you on WhatsApp. I'm emailing you in a private domain that says our company name. I'm onboarding you as a client with our accounting system. You're getting professional invoices when I invoice you. So now you don't feel like, Aviwe is shooting me, but the company is shooting me. I'm getting an assistant to talk to you about a book.
The assistant is too scarce.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, bro. It adds a level of professionalism. Now when you look at my rates, you're like, okay, this is not Aviwe charging me. This is somebody who has overheads that's charging me. Somebody has to pay for his Wi-Fi bill. Somebody has to pay his assistant. Somebody that has to pay everything, So I think it's just creating an experience for the consumer that they know that I'm not just dealing with one person, but I'm dealing with a conglomerate.
Crazy. Because Ali said the same thing. I guess Ali was at the office. We were shooting his episode. Check it out. And he was like, Lwazi, the reason you charge more than Redacted is because when I came to the studio, you had the studio, you had the Wi-Fi available, you had the water, you have an assistant contacting me, and the whole 9 yards. And he was like, your pricing is justified because of also the questions you ask on the email. You're not just saying, when are we doing it? So I guess I'm just saying this, say what you're saying actually affirms what he said before.
Yeah.
Where it's like the more professional you come off, the more people feel like it's worthwhile to pay you more.
100%.
And then you find your place in the market, you create the product. What leads to eventing? Because you're making the money off the eventing.
Yeah.
You know that the media team is the one that's making a killing, besides the bar.
Yeah.
After bar, it's media team that's making the killing at an event.
With the eventing, I've always wanted to curate experiences, primarily because I was exposed to places like Cape Town. I was exposed to places like Joburg, and like I felt like it's unfair that my city doesn't experience cool events. you can't always want to leave PE in order to experience something cool. So my mission was to create or inspire a shift in how people do events in PE. You know, I want people to like pay attention to how they're rolling out the events. I want people to pay attention in how the consumer experiences the event. You know, I don't want you to just get some cheap speakers and get a cheap DJ and call it and like that's a party. No, I want everything to be intentional with how you create experiences for people. And that's literally at the core of me wanting to do events.
The move, Afro Capital, Afro House, and House, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah.
Why limit yourself to that genre? Because we're at a peak where it's like, yo, just play some Playboy Cardi.
Yeah.
Pull through.
I'm not gonna lie. At the time, so when we founded Afro Capital, there was a big gap in the Gqeberha market. Not many places were catering to Afrobeats people that love Afrobeats. You know, nowhere really. Like there would be that one DJ at White Tiger who'd play Afrobeats in his set, but that's it. So I wanted to create a space where people can consume music that is African-centered. I'm not saying you're not going to hear a Playboy Cardi at an Afro Capital once or twice or somewhere, but I'm just saying that at the core of the event, I want you to experience what Africa has to offer. So we started with Afrobeats, and then Amapiano was a big thing, so we had to include that. And then we introduced Gqom. So we called it, and then Afro House. So we called it the Afro Trinity. So it was Afrobeats, Amapiano, and Afro House in the beginning of this. And then we realized, no, man, we can't keep out a huge part of African sound outside of Africa, which was Gqom. Gqom had a huge peak, and I think is having another peak right now. So we added Gqom into what we offer, and that's the four we really focus on right now. Outside of that, you'll hear a set, maybe a few songs that fall outside of the four, just so that people can also don't feel like we are just being strict in what we do. So yeah, man, we really just believe in what Africa has to offer, and that's what we wanted to highlight with the event, is just the sounds of Africa.
You've hosted parties on a beach, in a warehouse, in a basement, on a rooftop, in a club. When does it feel like, you know what, it's cool now?
You've done everything.
I've done it.
Excuse me. I don't think well, not anytime soon, because I feel like there's so much to do in PE. Like my next thing right now that I want to do is I want to have camping. I want to have a festival in PE where you can camp at the festival, you know. This is
never watch out.
Yeah. Not even like that. Like I just feel like we've never had an experience. There's people that have never left PE. You know, there's a lot of people that have never left PE and never got to experience what's outside of PE, you know? And I feel like camping at a festival is an unbeatable experience. And I definitely want to bring that to PE. So you better keep your eyes out. You know, you might see something in the near future.
Speaking of camping, the juxtaposition of I want to shoot the biggest festival to I want to be on stage at the biggest festival. What's that like? Because I know financially it's a blow to DJ at a festival as opposed to being in the green room.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not going to lie, bro. For me personally, I passionately love both. So for me, if I can't be on that lineup, I would love to be on the media team of that lineup, of that festival. So it brings me great joy to do both. Like right now, I'm not going to lie, at the top of my heart, DJing is there. Like I would literally fly myself to a place to go DJ because I'm still at a position where it's extremely fun for me. And that's how I started photography. It started off as a fun thing to do. So with DJing, like I really love it and I'll do anything to DJ. But that doesn't mean that I'm not going to be strict with what I take. I am very much strict with what I take, but I still love it at the core of me. So yeah, biggest festival, I'm happy to play. I'm happy to shoot.
Either or.
You just want to be there. Happy. I just want to be there pretty much.
Thank you for featuring me.
Thank you, Naki.
You look back. Mm-hmm. What was it like thinking you'd be this person and then being in the UK and being that person?
See that one, bro. To this day, I really can't believe it. Like, I really, really can't believe it. But you know what's crazy? I've come to realize, ne, in life, opportunities come to those who are prepared. And I say this because when I made my passport, I had absolutely no reason to make my passport. Nobody emailed me saying they want me to shoot anything outside. And I remember I was still a photographer when I made my passport, but I went to go do my ID and I'm like, oh, let me just make a passport just for the fun of it. 3 weeks later, I kid you not, I get a call from this bro, Alden. He's like, yo, bro, I know you're the coolest shooter. I am having trials in Turkey. I'm taking a couple of boys to Turkey with me to go show their talent, soccer boys, and I want you to document everything. Mind you, I had no reason to make my passport 2 weeks ago. And he asked me, do you have a passport? Because that's all we need. I'm like, funny enough, I just got my passport. I just got my passport like 3 days ago. Divine timing and just preparation for what you desire in your heart. Because always in my heart, I always knew I wanted to go overseas. So it's just me preparing for that for whenever it came. So that came, I went overseas, I went to Turkey, I shot. I'm so sorry. I shot that, I come back to South Africa. I picked up DJing, and I'm like, at the core of my heart, even the music that I play Afro House, Afro Tech, 3-step, it's more popular outside than it is locally, because right now we're consuming a whole lot of piano. But I always knew I wanted to go there. So like even online, people that I would interact with are people that are that side. I'm building relationships. I'm commenting on people's posts. I'm being an active follower of other people's movements, that side. Shout out Abandu, that side. Shout out DM Recordings. Shout out Anthony James with, so it's like being in contact with those people, not knowing that, hey, bro, you are supporting all these people that you like. In a few months' time, you're going to be in the same country as these people.
Same lineup
as these people, you know. Shout out piano people. So it's just crazy, man. Like at the core of it, opportunities come to those who are prepared for them. Yeah.
You look at the opportunities, you look at your reality. How do you negotiate your growth with your reality? Because for me, sometimes I'm like I made like drastic decisions top of this year. Mm-hmm. But when I look at it, I'm like, yo, this is comfortable, this is nice. Mm-hmm. But the guy needs to be in 6 months. He can't afford this type of comfort because of the investment I need to make in the next 6 months. Yeah. How do you negotiate that with yourself? Say, okay, cool, you know what? The money's great. We made the money. Let me travel. We made the money. Let me book myself. Let me try get on the lineup. Let me cover the Airbnb myself. Yeah. How do you balance that out? Because sometimes it feels like you're messing it up by investing in the future.
I'm not gonna lie, bro. I've always been someone that could starve themselves for what they want. So my first cameras I bought because I starved myself. Lunch money I would save in varsity. I wouldn't eat out just so that I can buy myself that camera. So when I look at it as taking away my comfort so that I can invest in what I want in the future, it's always what I've done. So with DJing, it's just the same. It's just a different field, but it's always what I've done. So I'm willing to fly myself to Mozambique just so that I can meet with the promoter and show him that I'm serious. I'm a serious and active follower of what he's doing. And so much so that I'm going to come experience the event at my cost. Because I wanted to play this event and
this guy got money.
I would fly there to invest in the relationship and show you that I'm supporting you and I'm not just a random person online who's just trying to get on your lineup and doesn't care about what you're doing. So, and I feel like as a person that curates events, it means so much more when somebody is invested in what you're trying to do than just trying to be on the lineup for the sake of being on the lineup. So hence I would book the same people again, because if you treat me in a way that shows me that, okay, I believe in your movement and I want to help it, I want to help you too. I'm inclined to assist you in whatever you want to do too. So that's how I move.
You build a network of let's say junior promoters, for lack of a better term.
Yeah.
How does one start to even develop such a network? Because when you want to throw a party, there's 200 people on standby to let the world know that, yo, I'm throwing a party.
Yeah. I think I'm blessed to have people that truly support what I do without me having to beg them to support me, you know? And I think it comes down to that nature of I'm always ready to support the people I believe in. So now it's just come that I've supported so many people for so long that it's gotten to a point where now that I'm doing things, some people just feel it natural to support me, you know? And also just offering value to them. Like, if you're going to do something for me, I need to think of what I can give you in return. If it means like you're going to play a DJ set for me for free, I know how to take pictures. And you don't have press photos. Let me take your press photos, you know? Like, bartering will always be there. And I don't think that's a tradition that should never go away in your arsenal. Like, always think of how you can offer someone value when you want something from them.
So never money. Now I'm taking notes.
I mean, when the money's there, money's always going to be there.
Notes. But offer value before.
Yeah, offer value.
Always front face with value.
Yeah, dude. Because like money's great. Money's amazing. But if you can see someone is lacking in this way and you can help them outside, because like if I tell you, Razi, you need press photos, and I'm gonna tell you this is how much I charge.
You need an update on them.
You're gonna run away. Yeah. But if I tell you like, yo, come play this set, and you charge lower than me in terms of what I charge to shoot, and I'm gonna give you my services, which are up there at the rate that you move at, that feels like a obvious deal, you know? So just lead with value.
And then how do you balance the two, where you're this guy who adds value, but at the end of the day, it's a business?
Yeah.
Because even if you're going to stretch yourself, give me the press photos, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. How do you still run the business of it? Because eventing is hard.
Yeah.
Eventing is hard.
Yeah.
How did you go about it to just facilitate an event? What's your regular run around if you're trying to host an event? I think that's the insight everyone needs.
I think the best thing to think about this is that realizing that you are not Superman. You don't have to do everything on your own. And I know there's this big hype of being self-made, owning everything.
Tyler Perry production.
You know, like you don't have to own everything. You need partners in life. The most successful people in this country, in this world, have partners. Even if they're silent, they have partners.
I'm looking for it, by the way.
You know, so just having partners, bro, helps alleviate those things. And with eventing for me, I have a partner who's been in eventing for when I was in high school, since when I was in high school.
Yeah. you know, sneak into his parties.
You know, I used to sneak into his parties underage. Oh, don't quote me. But yeah, dude, so it's like building those relationships help you learn faster, helps you mitigate so many problems. And I think those things don't happen unless you are willing to have partners. So just have the right partnerships, strategic partnerships. That's the answer.
When you start having an assistant, start having a designer, what's the metric of expanding your team? Mm-hmm. Because to this day, I don't know how to permanently expand a team. Like, I can work with people. Yeah. I don't want to work with you every day. Because there's a sense of responsibility I feel that I have. Now I have to bring the business. It's like, I can survive with the business we got. I don't want to maintain your day-to-day business. Yeah. How have you managed that balance?
I mean, the beautiful thing about us is that we're still in the early stages of our agency. So it's not even a matter of, these are people, the people that we work with are people that are passionate about what they do. And at the core of them joining the team, majority of them are the ones that reached out to us and said, yo, I love what you're doing. I want to be a part of this. And I'm like, yo, listen, if anything, I don't want to snub you. I don't want to be that person that doesn't compensate you for what you do. So if you work, I need you to understand that the structure of what we do is you will get compensated based on what we do. So if it means that we don't have anything happening, it means that we're going to have to chill. But when we do have things, we'll make sure that you get compensated for those things. And I feel like working with people that are in it for the right reasons helps mediate all of that. Because now you know that this person's not doing this to just get a paycheck. They're doing this for passion, firstly. And a paycheck is always nice to follow it. So yeah.
You're growing. Any future plans of how you project this thing to go? Let's say if you had to look into your future, what do you think is going to be there?
If I had to look into a future, if I look into the future, I'm seeing Gqeberha being recognized as a contender in the big 3 cities.
Who's that guy? Trollip. You trying to be Trollip unofficially?
Trying to be the mayor, man. Gqeberha is recognized for his beauty, man. Like, I feel like for me, a huge part of why I exist is to bring light into that city and show people that that city, one, is beautiful. That city has a lot to offer. There's a lot of culture there. There's a lot of creative people down there. But we tend to get overlooked because we're not part of the big 3, you know, and I want us to be the big 4 now.
I don't think there's a big 3, though, because the other homies, love you, though. Shout out Durban. Man. Like, damn, man.
What do you mean?
We old enough to go to Durban in July, but Durban in July is not a thing.
Yeah, that's the sad part.
Like, when you think about it, it's like if you want to go to Cape Town's still a thing.
Yeah,
overpriced. Inflation and traffic. God damn. But with everything that you're doing, you grow, you learn. What's the communication like? Because you're communicating against 3 industries. Yeah. You're the DJ, you're the content creator, and you're also a production company. Yeah. How do you manage all those personalities and businesses? Because sometimes you get booked for a photography gig, but you still have to go DJ in another province. Yeah. What's that been like? Because the biggest DJs are missing gigs.
Yeah, I mean, one thing that I've come to realize is that you have to over-communicate with people. And this is not something I always knew. This is not something that was always at the forefront of who I am. I used to struggle with communication a lot, but having friends that identify your weaknesses and not just exploit them, but help you work through them. Like Masonoabe will always never fail he'll never fail to call you out on something and help you get through it. And I feel like at the core of me, communication was the best thing that I had to learn to do anything. Because if you communicate with people in time, people are usually cool people, you know? So with that, like if I'm booked in Joburg to go DJ, I do have a team in PE that can fulfill the media event that you want us to cover. And that's just coming off identifying people that have skills, enabling them and giving them resources that, okay, listen, bro, I'm off to Joburg for a gig, DJing gig. I don't need my cameras. So I'm gonna leave these cameras here and I'm gonna allow you to fulfill this job, you know? And it allows us to just be everywhere at the same time, just delegating.
Do you ever sit back and actually like, damn, I did that?
I seldom do. I'm not gonna lie. I seldom do, but I had one of those moments lately, you know. The thing is with this industry, you can be lost in umgoho very quickly. And sometimes you really just have to step back and look at everything that you've done and realize this was not by mistake. This was by God's design and your persistence in doing what you want to do. So, and I think it's very important to just reflect every now and then to keep yourself going.
What's your word to the youth?
Word to the youth. To be great at anything, you need to be obsessed with it. And I feel like I need a lot of us, young people or younger people than me, to be obsessed with what they say they want to do and not just do it for the clout. Just obsess over it. Like, be a nerd about it and just sharpen your skills.
What do you tell the kid at VP who's sitting on a bridge for a camera pose and is uncertain of what they're going to do, if they're even going to make it to varsity? I want to hear that real word to the youth as you reflect on the person you've become.
Yeah.
When you look back, what's this? We're celebrating 10 years out of high school next year.
Yeah.
10 years ago I met you.
Yeah.
10 years ago, when you look back at that kid and the person you are today.
Trust your weirdness. Trust your weirdness. I can't tell you how many times I've had people come to me now and be like, oh, bro, they always thought you were the weird kid in school. Wow, 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 wow. Now you've made it. And like you're traveling the world and you did everything that... The funny thing is like everything that I'm doing is stuff that I talked about in high school.
I told you niggas.
Like I spoke about this in high school that I want to do this. I want to be here. I want to be in these places. I see myself in these places. Like, and I did that. So it's just trusting your weirdness and trusting what you want in your heart. You'll go get it.
Thank you.
Thank you for having me, bro.
Juta.
Yeah.
Aviwe.
Yeah.
Gqeberha.
Yeah.
Avion Dex.
Yeah.
Christopher Point Dex.
Yeah.
Xaluva.
Yeah.
Data Fest.
Shout out, Pops.
Shout out.